My 7th Ascended 6-star and my 3rd rank 5 Ascended 6-star is Omega Sentinel. And with that being said, I felt like it was a good time to make a showcase on one of my favorite tech champions, which is obviously her. And I have had a lot of fun making this showcase. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. We'll go over a bunch of fun fights in the game with her and point out some of her best places of content and where her utility shines and why I actually decided to rank her. So first off, we'll just start against Winter Soldier like you do in almost every showcase. Omega Sentinel, the way you want to play her is by getting 3 non-damaging debuffs like you can see we have, and you want to keep those paused by doing a 4th light attack or a heavy attack, and then once you have those 3 debuffs on, you can start placing Incinerate or Plasmas versus Mutants by using the SP2 or your 2nd medium. So the way you want to use her is just weaving in your 4th light and your heavy attack just to keep all those debuffs paused while spamming SP2 usually, and double medium if you feel like you can fit it in the rotation. Which, against Winter Soldier, is pretty easy because his special attacks are relatively fast and his AI makes it relatively easy. So we're just keeping the Incinerates paused by canceling our special 2 into our heavy attack, and we're going to keep placing Incinerates. She is a max of 20. She is a bit of a ramp-up character, so this Winter Soldier kill is not going to be the most stellar out there, but she's never had the most insane damage to begin with. What really makes her shine is how massive her utility kit is, and we're going to get straight into that with the Alliance War fights that will be coming up next. And we're going to start with Weapon X on Node 28. Now this is an off-season fight, so this fight is taken with the opponent having recoils, but I do want you to focus on the main points of why she is good for this fight, and if it was placed in regular season where it's not a joke, then it would be really fun and easy. So Omega Sentinel, one of her 3 non-damaging debuffs is Heal Block, and the non-damaging debuffs are extremely easy to place. You can stack more than one of them, so if one starts to fall off, you might have uptime on another one, and pausing them isn't necessarily that hard. There are different ways you can pause them, like I said, with the 4th light heavy attack, or if you want to SP1, that also will refresh them. But anyway, another thing about this fight is that it does have Buffet, and Omega Sentinel is Nullify and Fate Seal immune, meaning she will never trigger Buffet. So that's why I think she is the perfect Node 28 counter, and I am going to have some more Node 28 fights coming later in this video. That was definitely the easiest one, but we have some more hard ones coming up later. This is a Bishop on Node 39. I did mention before that the main damage source of Omega Sentinel's, damage is Incinerate or Plasmas, but against someone with energy resist like Bishop, and someone we don't want to be using energy attacks against, that becomes a bit of an issue. So one thing I do like to point about Omega Sentinel a lot is that she has one of the top 5 highest base attacks in the game. Or at least she did for a long time. I can't remember exactly if she still does, but I do believe she still does. And that being said, in some matches where you don't want to place damage over time, like against this Bishop, it really doesn't feel that bad to just 5-hit combo them to death because your 5-hit combos are very massive. And we're not even using special attacks because they're all energy damage. We don't really want to use them, so we're never even triggering the Power Sting node here. And this also has the Power Snack node, meaning that since we're Nullify immune, we never actually trigger it. There's so many different utilities I want to go into in this fight. So we talked about how she's Nullify immune, we talked about how she's good even if the opponent has energy resist and you can't use damage over time. Note this is without war boosts because this is off season, so she'd be killing this Bishop even faster if I was running war boosts. But more things I can get into about this fight is the fact that the Cowardice allows us to take less damage from Bishop's special attacks. She also has energy resistance in her Sig ability, her non-damaging debuff on the opponent, and it is not that bad of an energy resist. It actually is pretty decent amount. If you get the max amount of it, it's about 50%, maybe even a bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'm not exactly sure on the math, but if you can keep your Cowardice up, that means you will have an additional energy resist, which will help you against both Bishop's special attacks and his Incinerates if you do happen to get caught by them. You also have the armor ups, making it to where you can just block this SB2s like nobody's business, and yet you're just so tanky in this fight. Like, you feel like you can't die even if you get hit by an unblockable special attack, just because you're so tanky. And a Mega Sentinel does have a small health pool, but that is a good thing because of the fact that she has so many ways to take resistances, especially against mutants, that if she had such a high health pool, she'd be one of the most tankiest champs in the game, and it would almost be unhealthy how good she would be against certain mutant matchups. So. Next up, we have Node 28 again. This is against a Photon, who is, in my opinion, the hardest possible defender you can fight in the current Alliance War meta, with Sturdy and Crush. I do think that Photon is the hardest defender. This is from last season, so we have to try to get intercepts to place a taunt, and then we can block her unblockable special attacks whenever she does throw some unblockable ones. Like there. You can see that one's unblockable, but we have the Steadfast, which you trigger from the taunt, so that helps. Heal Block helps us control the Arc Overload node in this fight. Our Nullify Immune helps us trigger the Buffet node in this fight. We can place tracking to be able to parry and prevent her miss, but I don't think I do it that often. I think I'm going to go and switch into my tracking debuff right there, actually, because what my mindset was, okay, I'm stacking enough debuffs pretty fast to where I have enough heal control through Despair. I do let them fall off, but I get them back pretty fast as soon as I get into another SP2. We're going to start stacking some more non-damagings, and then we're just going to block her special ones. We have that energy resist from the tracking debuff, and it stacks with our, the energy resist stacks with our tracking stacking. So we're going to go for an SP2 there. And now we have even more energy resist. We have a bunch of block proficiency. We have a bunch of armor from the armor, obviously. So our specials, you know, they're definitely hurting us. But, you know, we have to think that, okay, the Daunted is making them hit like 100% harder, if not more. And Photon also does a lot of damage through block. And this is an unduped Photon, might I add. If the Photon was duped, she'd be hitting even harder in the block, to where I would almost be at risk of dying. But I can probably still solo if the Photon was duped. I definitely think that is possible. So yeah, we're just finishing the fight now, just playing it as safe as possible, keeping the intercepts up. Here, I'm just going to go for an SP1 and refresh my tracking, and then anti-bait her special for just a second, and then she's going to die with my medium right there. So anyway, that is another Node 28 fight. I have one more Node 28 fight that I actually just took like an hour ago from another off-season fight, and it's going to be against I think rank 3 Titania, and I'm only entering with 40% health because it's off season, so no point in using potions. But this is the biggest possible Titania you can achieve in this game, on a node that makes her have a lot of healing that I need to control, and we need to weave in intercepts along the way. And yeah, this is a difficult fight, but a Mega Sentinel, like I said, is one of the most tankiest champs in the game. What we're going to do here is just keep as many armors as possible and just try to take her down with our Incinerates. Now, Inequity, if the defender does have Inequity, which I think they do in this fight, is definitely going to make this take a lot longer, which is a bit annoying, but it's okay. I did speed this fight up because it did take a little while, and the video is already going to be kind of long, so I'm just going to shorten it by speeding this fight up. But, we are holding our special 3, because I didn't actually mean to go for it. I think I got pushed to it on accident. But we are just controlling Titania by just blocking the SP1s. We take barely any damage because we have so many armor ups. I also have Inequity of my own, so that also helps. And now she's at 3%, so I'm just going to throw my SP3. If the SP3 itself didn't kill her, the detonation of the Incinerates at the end would. She does detonate her Incinerates to do extra burst damage at the end of the SP3. So anyway, I don't have a lot of Battlegrounds fights with a Mega Sentinel, and this is my unascended Mega Sentinel, but I did have one here that I did find in my camera roll against this Sauron here. Sauron is one of the harder mutant defenders to fight, but a Mega Sentinel does make him extremely easy. A Mega Sentinel's SIG ability allows her to place extra Incinerates on the SP2, depending on how many prowess the opponent has, with like a maximum of 5 extra, and Sauron obviously having 10 makes that really easy to hit. So we're going to be baiting out his SP2. I'm going to throw my SP2 after I heavy cancel right here, and then we're going to get 9 incinerates, I believe, and these are just going to absolutely wipe him out. Like, they're doing 4k per tick, and yeah, this Sauron is beyond dead. So you can see even my unascended Mega Sentinel gets the job done extremely easily. And so that is like a Battlegrounds fight against a mutant matchup. I don't have a lot of other fights from Battlegrounds. I just haven't had the opportunity to get some. But next up, I'm going to show against this Labyrinth Old Man Logan if you want to see a much larger health pool. Mega Sentinel, like I said, is a ramp-up character, and being the fact that she has a max of 20 incinerates, you need a very large health pool to actually reach that cap, because most things are going to be dead before then. So I'm going to keep my non-damaging debuffs paused. This Old Man Logan is being a little bit passive. I am going to speed this video up again just because the showcase is already getting kind of long, so I don't want to make it last too much longer. But there was a lot of stuff I did want to cover, because Mega Sentinel is one of the most underrated tech champs in the game to me. Even though a lot of people already like her, I do think she is absolutely phenomenal and deserves to be praised even more than she already is. So we're just continuing to bait out Old Man Logan's special attacks and place our plasmas while keeping all of our debuffs paused as much as possible. We're going to keep spamming the SP2s. That'll help. That's the main source of plasma you can get in this fight. I do have Limber to worry about because I didn't bring Magneto with me, but that's okay because it's usually not that big an issue. We can heavy counter his specials and his heavy attack to get the pause as well, or we could just fourth light attack, which we don't even need to stun for. So anyway, we've reached 20 incinerates, and I believe some of them are going to fall off. Yeah, we have only 19 now, but the fight's already almost over. You can see Old Man Logan just getting wiped out. So anyway, he's going to die right there, and then I believe I only have a couple fights left I'm going to show off. And I think they're just CAV-Q. I put these at the end because CAV-Q is one of the most irrelevant game modes, in my opinion, just because it's not really competitive. It's more like just a casual game mode. But for people who do enjoy watching this, here you go. You might as well see. A Mega Sentinel is pretty good for, I think, like every month of tech EQ. I know there's one where you want armor ups, like this one. I know there's one where you want heal block, like she also has. I don't remember what the last one is, but I'm pretty sure she's good for it too. And against this Omega Red, we parry to power drain when we have an armor up, and Mega Sentinel has armor ups basically all the time. She gains them each time her or her opponent duplicates the same, or should I say, does the same hit twice in a row. So yeah, if I do two light attacks in a row, we're gonna gain an armor up and 2 against mutants. So this Omega Red is beyond dead. I threw my first SP2, and those incinerates are already taking for more than 4.5k per tick, so almost 10k per second. But I'm gonna show one more fight against this Black Cat, just the same thing, but without class advantage this time. And you're gonna see it basically goes just the same. I remember when I was like taking this fight, I thought it was the heal block node. So if you see me acting a little funny, it's because I was like, oh yeah, you actually take this path by parrying instead of by placing heal block. I don't really know what I was thinking, but anyway, we are just going to keep placing debuffs, and we are going to get to the SP2 and throw it with 5 Furies. I'm actually going for 5. Pretty sure there's a max of 10 in this fight, if I do remember correctly. But, you know, most things are dead before you can even get that many, especially since my Mega Sentinel is ascended and stuff. So, anyway, that is the end of my Mega Sentinel showcase. I have more fights that I probably could have added, but I didn't want the video to be extremely long. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.